All right. All right, bro. Okay, ready?
Nice to meet you, by the way. I'm Jim.
Jim, nice to meet you. Josh.
Are we starting?
Yeah, okay. Hey guys, Pitmaster here. I'm here with the doc.
John, good
And
to see you, man.
oh my God, we have he's actually been one of my favorite guys. I don't know if you remember, I put up a Instagram of him landing a left hook against
Lamas.
Limas.
Yep, Ricardo Lamas.
Yeah, Ricardo Lamas. It just he's like, and I'm not gonna go racial. I'm not gonna say the white Mike Tyson. I'm just to say a MMA version of Mike Tyson with takedowns, takedown defense, and some elbows as well. Oh, some fucking brutal kicks. But so I'm throwing Mike Tyson out there because you have that beautiful overhand right, and when you come back with a left hook, holy shit, that's the combination. You're gonna win everything with that one you can tell your opponents, you know what, bro? I'm just gonna hit you with an overhand right and a left hook, and you'll still beat them every time. They can train for it all they want. That overhand right and left hook combination is I don't know how that guy's so tough. That Burgos,
yeah.
Burgos.
Well,
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I was like, when we were talking, I was like, I go to I spar some pro boxers, and so have you ever heard of Ray Woods? He's a boxing coach. He was Diego Corrales' coach.
Yeah.
Chico, he fought Mayweather. He has Xavier Martinez, one of the guys that I go and spar with, Ruben Torres. So he's awesome, man, and he calls me White Tyson. And then a lot of people say, they like, I'm not Tyson. Tyson, he was one of my favorite boxers of all time. I can't even be in that discussion like at all. He's one of the best heavyweights, but it's just funny. But I like how you're saying the Tyson of MMA, and yeah.
You are the I'm gonna close there. You are the Mike Tyson of MMA. Let's not forget, I love Mike Tyson, but he could throw his hands. But while you're getting those, you might not have your hands quite to him. But don't forget, you're also kicking, elbowing, clinching, takedowns, takedown defense, and groundwork. So there's a lot more to the game. So with that said, I think if you looked at it percentage-wise, you are the Mike Tyson of MMA.
Yeah, I love it.
It's fucking unbelievable. When you hit like that, when you hit that Lamos with that left hook, it was like, and then your overhand right, which I like, and you're going to do a lot of things with it. I'm going to go over a couple of things with you.
I still need to come down to
that overhand right combined with a couple of things is going to be your ticket to everything. But and then you come back with a left hook. How many guys have that? Some guys have great left hooks. Some guys have great overhands. But the way you put those two together, that was brutal. But okay, now let's talk about this fight against Shane Burgos. Okay, we'll talk about when you injured your leg, because he's an orthopedic surgeon. So we're going to talk about that. So as soon as you threw that first punch, what was it? How many seconds in was it?
15.
Holy shit. I said like 20 or 30. 15
I thought it was in like 45 seconds, but I watched the fight. It's the first blitz, first exchange I throw. I just I hyperextended my knee. And I've seen people saying oh, he went in there injured. No, you could look in the fight, I grabbed it with excruciating pain.
Yeah.
I've never felt anything like that. I didn't hear a pop, but instantly I just had no stability and my knee kept buckling. So you're saying those punches, I was throwing hard at him, but I wasn't sitting down on my punches. I wasn't throwing 100% because I couldn't. Anytime I would lean to that left side, my knee would buckle. I couldn't throw right kicks because obviously I'm on my left leg, and I wanted to start working the liver. I wanted to showcase just way more of my game, what I'm capable of. And that was the game plan going into it. And I went out there, and my plan was to outclass Shane Burgos and make this look easy, but all that went out the window 15 seconds into the round. So I decided right there, I was playing these mind games with myself, and I was just like, man, screw this. I'm like, I'm like, I'm not going home with one check. I'm going to bite down. I have 14 and a half minutes left, and I'm just going to stand here, and I will hit him with the overhand right. I tell everyone, like, I'm going to be throwing my overhand right. 15 minutes is a long time to fight someone. I will hit you with it, and if I connect clean, I'll put you out. But I just couldn't commit 100% to him.
Well, what I noticed was, obviously you could see when you watch the replay, you got hurt. But, every video I've seen of someone tearing their ACL or hurting their knee, a lot of times it doesn't look like a lot to the person watching. It's just a little awkward step, but it's obviously a lot to you. I noticed when you went back to your corner, was your corner kind of whispering to you about your knee? Because it seemed like they were keeping it on the down low.
Yeah, so that's one thing. I couldn't see. Did you guys see the corner, the camera in the corner?
I remember hearing them whispering. You couldn't really hear what they were saying.
Yeah, because I guess the commentators, they heard. I told Danny Castillo, because he came into the cage, and I was like, he's like, is your knee okay? I said, fuck, I said I blew out my ACL, like, and then because it's so quiet in there, I was gonna tell the other coaches, Joey and Chris, but it was funny, like, thinking about it, because he was like shh in my ear. He's like, I'll tell them. I was like, all right, man.
So was he putting the ice on your other knee? I saw when he had you in the corner, they had ice on one of your knees. But anyway,
I don't even remember, honestly.
Yeah. So, but the impressive part, I think, even in round 3, I don't know, maybe you kind of learned what you could and couldn't do on that knee, but you took a lot of damage to it and kept going. Especially in the 3rd round, it seemed like you were kind of adjusted to it.
Yeah, and that seems like what I kind of had to do. I just had to make adjustments, and I would. So when he was coming forward, I switched my stance, because I have a good overhand left too, and a jab and hook, like John's saying. But so I switched my stance so I could throw an overhand left, and I could plant all that weight on my right leg. Because when I'm in orthodox stance and I throw overhand right, I transfer all that weight to my left leg, and my knee was buckling and giving out. So I figured, like, oh, I can't do this. So that's why in the 3rd, I switched stance, and I hit him with a straight left. And that's the one that dropped him the first time. And then that worked really well. So then he got back up, and I did it again. But I switched stance, and then I threw an overhand left, because I could actually sit down on those punches from a southpaw stance. And it was just tough, because when I dropped him, I was in his guard. I was kind of stalling just because I couldn't push off my leg. And at one point, he gave me his back. And if I had a fresh leg, I would have took his back, but I couldn't. And then he stood up, and I would have kicked him in his head, but I couldn't kick with my right leg. So I was
you kick with your left. You're kicking the shit with your left.
Yeah, I kicked it with my left because it hurt, but I could plan on that right leg. So I just kept throwing the inside kicks and throwing the little switch kicks high, but I felt like they were just more pesky, and just to kind of like get him thinking about that, because I could do that because I could stand on the right leg. So it was awkward. I've never really experienced anything like that. And it was, at least it, like, in hindsight, it turned into a great fight, and I had to just kind of stand there and slug it out. And Dana was there live watching it. And John, he likes those kind of fights. Maybe I don't, but he loved it. So I made a fan out of him. And, it turned into be a, fight of the night. And, and a lot of people are talking about it. So
a lot of people are talking about that fight. Holy shit.
That was definitely fight of the night. That was
a good
fight.
Oh yeah.
Even though you were injured, for fans, it was a good fight.
Yeah. It was a good fight. And when Dana, like, the extent of your injuries bought you a lot of stock for not only everyone in the world, including orthopedic surgeons all over. Like, he fought with what? Because he would be telling his patients, don't even use a cane. But Dana loves that shit. Loves that shit. I mean, to a fault, I think, but
no,
whatever.
Yeah, I feel the same way. And if you think about my UFC debut, I took on 4-day notice in the Netherlands, across the world. I went over there, cut weight. I had the worst hand injury. I had a compound fracture in my my ring finger. I blocked a kick, bone sticking out. That's like, I had to bite down again. I hide that from the ref, because he's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yep, good to go." Because I knew they would stop the fight, and it was in the 3rd round, and I was dominating the whole thing. So again, I had to do that, and then it's just constantly. It's just the injuries. I'm just, man, I'm sick and tired of it, because it's like I want to go on a run, but then I have something like this again. I'm like, I'm kind of on the fence what I want to do. I'm just staying out in Vegas, and I'm doing rehab like 2 times a day at the PI. I have a game ready machine at the hotel, so I'm doing that and a lot of my exercises. And even 3.5 days, the swelling's gone down like crazy. I'm working with I feel like one of the best PTs in the country, Heather. She's the main, like the head of the medical side over there. She used to work at the OTC for 8+ years, and she's works with combat athletes, and she knows her stuff. So she's helping me tremendously. And I don't know. And that's maybe something I could talk to you about, Jim. I know there are some people that do not have ACLs, and people that do really well in sports. I know it's a really bad injury, but I'm kind of on the fence. I'm going to see how it goes in like 3 weeks and then make a decision whether I have surgery or not.
Did you see all his injuries?
I haven't seen. So you had your MRI, I'm assuming, already, and they told you had an ACL tear?
Yeah, complete ACL tear. I have an MCL partial tear. I have a impact fracture with my femur and tibia. Yeah.
So your MCL, I would imagine, is going to look terrible on your MRI anyway because you were getting kicked in your knee. It's going to look swollen over there. Anytime you get an MRI, you'll see a lot. But as long as you didn't completely tear your MCL and it's stable when they examine it, that's a good sign. And you can, move forward with your rehab with at least inline activities. Avoid any pivoting at all. But the inline activities, like they'll have you on the stationary bike and when they can, and get you moving it in line without twisting. I think what you have to consider, there are athletes and people that compete without an ACL, but for a pivoting sport, it's tough because your knee, if it ends up being unstable after the rehab, the re-injury rate's really high because your knee's unstable. So it just makes you prone to continuing to tear things in your knee and make it worse. So it really depends on how unstable your knee is and what the MRI looks like. So you're gonna have to see your ortho and have them really examine it and check how loose it is as you come out of this.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, but they'll give you your MRI report. Will usually have a whole laundry list of things when you tear your ACL. I didn't see that you tore your meniscus, so that's good if you don't have a meniscus tear.
Yeah, meniscus is good, and I actually tore that back in college in 2007, and it's fine. But the only thing that's like stopping the range of motion is I had a Baker's cyst that ruptured, and that's pretty painful on the back of my leg. But that'll drain out within a week or so, right? From what I've
that'll go down. A lot of times, initially after you tear your ACL, your knee will really get swollen because it's basically full of blood.
Okay.
So your knee will be visibly swollen compared to your other one. The game ready will help you a lot, but that's a lot. What limits your motion the first few weeks after an ACL tear is all the swelling. So getting the swelling down and getting your motion back is the number one priority.
And that's what it was. It looks like someone blew up my leg, but even from yesterday till today, man, night and day. It looks so good. It's there's not that much swelling in my foot or my shin anymore. It's just a little bit of swelling around the knee, but nothing like it was the past few days. So I'm definitely making progress, and in such a short amount of time. So
those guys. I was kind of skeptical about the whole, PI thing over there, but man, they do some good work, man. They work with Glover, and their freaking diet guys, and their the workout guys, and they put the electrodes, and you send them in it goes on your phone, and then I
haven't done that yet.
It's pretty impressive, man. Glover's because Glover's an overtrainer. And with this, he pulls them back. Then the diet seems like it really dials them in. They have a pretty good program out there. Dana's done me and Dana weren't always, we didn't always see eye to eye during Chuck's early days. Yeah. And then in his later days, we didn't see eye to eye. But he's amazing in what he's done with that fucking organization. It's like, I can't believe it. It's like, I know there's complaints about, pay and stuff like that, but so not getting involved in that, but just what he's done with he's turned a brand. I mean, it's a fucking brand. I mean, it's an unbelievable brand.
No, yeah.
So would you live in Vegas?
No, I live in Sacramento.
Sacramento, right? So you just staying at a hotel? or out
Yeah,
there?
they're taking care of me too, because of this. So they wanted me to. I was supposed to go back on Sunday, but then they extended my stay just so I could get an MRI, and they expedited that process. I got the results in like a half hour after the MRI, and then yeah, they're just putting me up. I rented a car. They're taking care of me, and now I'm just doing rehab for 2 weeks out here, and then they'll fly my wife and I back. So they're really going above and beyond. So I'm super happy for that.
They are unbelievable. They are unbelievable. So, all right. So now that first, I just can't even imagine like fighting with an injury like that. I mean, getting with your shoulders bad, your hands bad. You got another hand. There's a lot of injuries that
Yeah.
you got to work through. A cut over your eye, you see the blood, but this is your like leg, one of your legs, and you actually have to stand on two of them. So now, basically, for all intents and purposes, one of them is deemed pretty much useless.
Yeah.
So you can't set in for that overhand right. You can't set in for a right leg kick or anything.
Takedowns, like literally my
You can't put your weight on for a takedown.
my whole game plan went out the window, and man,
Did you change it like that?
I had to, because
Was your guys doing it in your corner? But it happened 15 seconds. You had to think and just change it on your own right there.
Oh yeah, and that's one of the things I always say. I feel like no one's gonna mentally break me. I feel like my mentality is like one of my strongest attributes, and I'm playing mind games with myself. Right when this happened, I literally think most people would have given up or literally looked for a way out. And I was literally just thinking, like, I worked so hard for this. I worked my ass off during this quarantine and the pandemic, and I wanted to come out here and perform because all eyes are on me, and it's like one of the only sports up and running in the world. I was going to reach new demographics. We're on ESPN, just all these things coming into mind, and I was just like, just fuck it. I'm going to bite down and just throw bombs. And I really said I will. And I've said it before. I'm willing to go through hell. I'm willing to go through a great amount of pain as long as I get my hand raised. And I've done it time and time again. And I don't just say that just to say it. Like I truly mean that. Like,
yeah.
Imagine if I was sitting here right now and I had all this stuff happen to me, and I only went home with my show money, and I have all this stuff on my knee. So, but at least now I'm still pissed about the knee. But at least I got the win, and that's the most important thing to me. And I'll deal with all this. I know they say even if I do the whole knee reconstruction and things like that, they say 9 to 12 months. Am I correct? I'll beat that. I'll beat that. That's for people like, I feel like ordinary people, I heal a lot faster. I feel like with my discipline and dedication and everything like that, I can guarantee, I don't care how bad it is, I will be fighting if I do that before 9 months.
Yeah, the surgeons will usually give you a window of 9 to 12 months. We used to try to get people back in like 5 months, but you see the re-injury rate goes up the faster you get people back, because those people aren't ready to go back. It's not just about your ligament, your new ACL healing, because that'll heal in. It's about the muscle strength in the rest of your leg, keeping your leg strong. So yeah. John will just say fight on it. Who cares? But
no.
That's John.
Don't even do the surgery.
No,
argues with me about medicine all the time.
I'm like, I'm the stopper. I'm the towel guy. I stop fights for my guys more than anyone else I know. Big John McCarthy said that. I always stop my guys' fights. But sometimes, like, I had a little like pinky thing over here, and he's like, you can't train for 6 years. You got a hangnail.
That is not me. That is not me.
Hangnail.
Let's not get into it.
My wife thinks we're gay lovers because she's jealous. She's very bitter, my wife. But look, people don't understand that. They just don't understand they just don't understand what a fight's. Nobody understands. Like 99.9% couldn't figure that out. Just they can't put their mind into getting in there and fighting. And then having that injury come up so quick. And it's really, the contrast is, I'm not dogging this guy at all. I don't know him. Maybe he has a hernia or something. But the first fight of that night, the guy basically, and maybe he had some kind of real pain or some kind of spasm or something, but it looked like just because of fatigue, he begged his corner for him not to go out.
Yeah.
Right? That was the first fight of the night. I don't know the guy. I'm not dogging the guy. He might have had something really serious, but it didn't look like it. Nothing was reported. He wanted his corner to stop it, and his corner said, no, get back out. But because there was no crowd, the referee and the judge heard, or the doctor heard it. So when the bell rang to go out, the referee called it off. But the problem with that is there's no worse feeling in the world. Like when you're my age, you're going to look back and you would say, yeah, my knee hurt, I quit. And you'll try to explain it away. Well, it's my knee. Of course I'm going to quit. You know, I could have had a serious injury. And that other guy, he'll never, when he's my age, he's always going to remember he quit in the corner. He'll always remember that.
Yeah.
I don't remember my career very well. I remember, you know, I was a fighter. I fought here. I won a title here, da-da-da. But I just remember I was a fighter in a lump sum. I knocked out guys. I got dropped. I got this. But quitting in a corner, you'll never forget in your whole life.
Yeah.
And doing what you did when you're 60 years old, you go, you fucking crazy, bro? Grandson, when I was fucking fighting, I fought with one fucking leg for 15 fucking minutes. You'll always remember that. And so will all your fans. Your fans will always remember, you know, your knockout punches, your Tyson this, your brutal this. But they're always going to, on top of everything, they're going to go, fucking guy fought one whole fight with one leg. They're going to always remember that. You're going to remember that for the rest of your life, and so will all your fans.
Yeah,
I mean, that's one of your legacies now.
Yeah, and I 100% agree. That's one thing that I have no quit in me. Like I say it over and over again.
You say it and then they quit.
The only way that someone's gonna, they have to finish me. They have to knock me out. Maybe catch me in something, a submission. But even, you know, in that one guy's defense, because I keep getting a lot of people are like, you know, he quit and then you did that. You know, I'm just like, we're not the same. It's like the mentality. And he's also, one thing I think is he's a decorated wrestler.
That's what he should go back to. Yeah.
He's 5-0 in the UFC. I think he got in way too soon. You don't want to develop in the UFC fighting the best guys in the world, but so many people pad their record because their goal is to get to the UFC. But I'm like, you don't do that.
Well, let me tell you, you're trying to. I'm not dogging the guy because he might have had some kind of heart problem or something. But if you never fought before, if you never fought in the UFC and you were in some fucking card in fucking Temecula or something, and that happened to you, right? Yeah. You would still fight. It doesn't. If that was your first UFC fight, your first MMA fight, if you're never gonna quit, you'll never quit your whole career. If you're gonna fight, if you're gonna quit in a corner, you'll always quit in a corner.
Yeah.
It's how you made. And I'm not dogging him. He's a great wrestler under Drysdale and shit. It seems like maybe he's better at that. That's what he should go for. He did take a lot of punches in that round, but it's different wrestling than getting punched in the face over and over and over. Okay. So I think you're sticking up for him is great because you're a fighter. He's a fighter. I'm a fighter. Yeah. But quitting in the corner is something that you're gonna do it or you're gonna not do it. Like it's like sucking a cock. You're gonna either suck a cock or not. And if you're gonna, you can't say, "Well, I just did it that one time."
So to be clear, you're not dogging him. Just to be clear.
No, because
go over your analogy again.
No, because he might have actually had some kind of excruciating pain we didn't know about.
I saw something. I don't think he did. I honestly think he just like he just quit. Like
you can't do that. You can't do that.
Like a fighter, like if you're beating someone up all the time, you can do that all day. But once you get into a fight and you have to actually fight, it's like heart. You got it or you don't. And I don't think he has it. I don't think he has it. But that's with a lot of people.
You'll never have it. You can't build you can't get a chin.
Yeah.
You can't get a heart.
Yep, you're right.
You can lose a chin and you can lose a heart, but you can't get one if you don't have one. Yeah, you can't build one.
And that's what I'm saying. No, I'm saying like nothing against him because I respect
No.
everyone that fights, and I know you do. But I was saying the heart thing. I was getting to that.
Right.
Like you have it or you don't.
You know,
Like once you get into a fight, you learn a lot about yourself. And if you give up, then it's like, okay, maybe I shouldn't fight, because you're not going to learn that later when you get in a tougher fight.
you know, you're not
Yeah,
gonna. And
no
he's a
way.
great wrestler, a great submission guy, and
Yep.
that's what he should do. And that's great. There's no shame in that. If
No,
I
not
did
at
a
all.
grappling match right now, I would be, as soon as somebody grabbed my wrist and did a wrist lock, I'd be like, ah, fuck that. I don't want that. I want this.
Yeah.
So I would not want to do it. So I'm not dogging him, but I would never quit on exhaustion, no matter what I was doing.
Yeah.
But
Me neither.
so,
Yeah, speaking of chins, though, I did, before we get off of your fight, man, that guy's
oh,
chin.
your
Burgos'
guy,
chin.
holy shit.
What did you think
Yeah.
when you hit him with some of those and he didn't?
That's discouraging.
It didn't end. Have you ever hit someone like that before? They just came back. Like, he actually looked like he was complimenting you on the way down on one of the last ones.
Burgos is a cool dude. You know,
What a nice guy. He looked like it.
Yeah, he was a
Total
good dude
class,
after all.
you guys, yeah.
And it was funny too, because like, but it wasn't that discouraging to me, because I knew I was throwing hard, but I was not throwing as hard as I can.
You couldn't. Yeah.
But I did crack him with some really hard shots, and he would kind of like smile and be like, whoa, or like he was saying things. When I did drop him, he was laughing, and he's like, oh, that was a good one. He was complimenting me. And then it was funny because it's so quiet. The corners are trying to like manipulate the judges. So his corner was saying, hey, it's okay, don't worry about it. We got the first 2 rounds. And I told his coach, you don't have the first 2 rounds. And then Burgos started laughing, and it was actually pretty fun in there. Like, we were having a good time.
It is.
And,
it's different, huh?
Yeah,
because you know, Anthony Smith fought Glover, and then it was the same thing. And his corner's like, something about, you're hitting with every single jab. Keep throwing your jab. And Glover actually looked into their corner and go, he's not catching me with every jab. It's like, it's really a different kind of, it's pretty cool. But
and that's what they're doing. Even my coaches were like messing around. Like, they never say stuff like this, but they just kept saying, like, they were like cheering me like they were a fan. When I would hit something, they would scream like, yeah, Emmett. And they kept saying all the stuff that they never say, because they're trying to like persuade the judges. And I thought that was funny. And it's like, it was a weird like just circumstance, but in the end of the day, it's still a fight. So I've been on the outside looking in from the Ultimate Fighter. So helping coach. So I knew how that was. I did not like that at all. But being in a fight, I'm so focused. It doesn't matter if it's in front of thousands of people or you're walking down the street and something happens. I'm not gonna be like, oh, there's no crowd, I'm not gonna fight you. You know what I mean? A fight's a fight. Like, so that felt the same to me. It was kind of eerie just because it was so damn silent, and it doesn't do justice on TV. Like, if you were there live, like, we were like, even my coaches were cringing, like how hard. And that's when I'm hitting him. Like, he said, you hit him so hard sometimes it made just the grossest sound. And they're like, ugh, just because it's something else.
Well, the audience, though, maybe not there in person, but must be huge now, because this is like the only thing going on in the world is the UFC. And so as fans, man, thank you for going out and doing it right now. Yeah. When there's no other sports going on. I mean, they're not in the arena, but man, there must be a lot of people watching at home.
Hey, they got some cornhole going on. I see Dana talk about the cornhole and boxing and stuff. It's kind of funny, but my whole thing during this, like, as soon as they did the lockdown in California, because we have some, a strict governor, my whole thing was, I'm coming out of this shelter in place better than when I went into it. So I went on a strict regimen, diet. I did everything right because I knew I would fight soon. And then I got the Burgos fight on 4-week notice. And it's a lot sooner than I would have liked, but I really flipped the switch and turned it up for 3 hard weeks of training, and then came out to Vegas and cut the weight. But looking back on how crazy this year has been, I was saying before all this, I was like, it's kind of like I want to be like a part of history in a sense that no sports are going on. I was training during this crazy COVID pandemic, and then I fought, I was, so that's what I was going through my mind back in March and all this. But it's even just Dana being able to get the UFC up and running and be able to pay the employees and us fighters be able to make a living. Like, I hadn't fought since July of last year, so I haven't got paid since July 2019, and so I really needed to fight. And
Did you have any reservations about fighting during all this?
No, not at all.
Do you hear about other fighters having reservations about fighting? Because I know in other sports, you see in the NBA or other sports, big time athletes coming out and saying it's not the right time to come back. I'm not going to play. Like,
Yeah.
Is that happening in MMA?
Yeah, I think because we had a big conference call when this all happened. There was like a lot of people we logged on, and it was Skype or Zoom, some other platform with Dana, and it was no managers, no nothing, just the fighters. And he said, if you guys don't want to fight, you don't have to. There's a lot of people that don't want to fight during this because they have gyms and businesses. They're trying to stay afloat somehow. They're trying to just do other stuff. People that were taking care of their families that are older, or even their children, and there's so many different circumstances. So there were quite a bit of people that said they won't fight during this, and I think they don't have access to gyms or the type of training that they need because the gyms are closed down, and so they didn't want to have some lackluster performance, and be just not prepared enough. So. But I felt like this is the best I ever felt because I focused more on myself. We didn't have practices because our gym was closed. So I just worked with my boxing coach, Joey Rodriguez. I work with, Danny Castillo, and he's an MMA coach and wrestling, everything. And Chris Holdsworth, same type of thing, jiu-jitsu,
wrestling. What about Faber? What about Uriah?
Yeah, well, Faber was kind of on the lockdown for a little while, but he was coming in towards the end, and he was coming to coach us. And, I've worked with him for quite some time, but during the whole quarantine, I was really just working with them, doing individualized stuff. But I felt better because I wasn't risking injury or anything like that. I wasn't overworked, so I wasn't sure how I was going to feel. I felt like I was in great shape, but I was like, we'll see, because it was all new to me. I wasn't just grinding out all these practices and doing things like that. And I was working with my strength coach as well. So it all went perfect. And I think I took something away from that. I think I'm going to use a lot of the things that I did during this time and maybe do some other things, because I wasn't injured for once going into a fight.
This is different. Like Glover's last camp was just like, it was so much better, but because of this. So we learned a lot because of this.
He did really well. I said Andy did really well. Right? He fought Anthony Smith.
Yeah, he did really good.
Yeah, that was an awesome fight. Yeah.
What do you? Okay, you're in a Walmart parking lot, and you're walking back to your car with your wife, and some guy out of the blue just comes up and shoves you up against your car, and you turn around, and he's like 2 feet from you, and he has that look like he's gonna kill you, and your wife is standing right next to you, and for a fact what you do in that next second is going to determine how she treats you in the bedroom for the rest of your marriage. Okay, what do you do? What are you going to do? What's the first thing you do? He's about to attack you. What's your first go-to you're going to do?
I'm probably throwing my overhand right.
Dang.
or the left hook, you know what I mean? Yeah. Maybe if he's that close, an elbow, but no, I'm throwing that overhand right.
No, left hook. Let me tell you why. The overhand right is great in the cage, and most people that break their hand in a fight, it is the overhand right because it lands in different directions and it lands on the skull.
Yep.
The hook is shorter and it goes right to the chin, so it's not as hard of a target, and it doesn't go in a weird angle. It's like right here or right here. So it's a safer for someone like us. It's better to throw in the street. Most people don't practice it, and it's their non-dominant side, so they rely on their right, kind of like Dan Henderson. But in the street, you don't wrap your hands and put the gloves on. So you say a left hook. Would you ever think of taking a guy down in the street?
It depends on the circumstance, but sometimes I'm thinking like, I think too, I want to hit someone in the body, like hit him in the liver or kick him hard because I don't want to mess up my hands if I have a fight. Like if I had a fight lineup, depending on what this guy looks like too, if it's someone that I could just it just depends the circumstance. But if I had a fight lined
You got
up,
some pretty nice kicks, bro. You got
I
some
probably,
good kicks too.
I know, and I was. You'll see next fight. I'm going to come out and I'm going to do what I want to do for this fight. But
Yeah. Okay, what's your favorite breakfast?
man, just anything. I love biscuits and gravy. Biscuits and gravy. If I'm out of camp, of course, but I like to eat, man.
Yeah.
That's one thing. I feel like wrestling and fighting. I always joke around, say it gave me an eating disorder because I cut a lot of weight and then all I want to do is just eat. So it's like my wife and I are foodies. Everywhere we travel to, everywhere we go, we're just constantly finding the best places to eat. And
How much weight do you cut usually?
Say in March, I was waking up mid 80s, 85, 88 in the morning. So, but that's when I haven't fought for a while. We just got back from Vietnam, the end of February. So I was really enjoying
Do you
life.
like Vietnam?
Yeah, it was fun. It was,
I'm thinking of Vietnam.
it was fun. It's,
You just went there to visit?
yeah, because I was supposed to fight in January, and so we always book a big trip afterwards. And we had this whole trip planned and paid for, but I got injured, so we ended up still going. Otherwise, we would have missed out on our trip or a lot of things. But this is when the whole thing, coronavirus, was going on over in China, and we literally went the beginning of February. So our friends and family, they're like, "Don't go," and we went into Saigon, like Ho Chi Minh City, and we just worked our way all the way up north till we were on the border of China and Laos, like in Sapa, and we could see the Chinese border. And we just ate our way through the country. We stayed with some local families because it really puts things into perspective. Like we're just super grateful when we do stuff like that because we really
How
have
do you get families? How do you set that up?
tours like TripAdvisor,
Yeah?
yeah, different things. Like we did this 3-day trekking tour in the rice fields, and then we'd stay with local families in villages, and they would we would help cook dinner and just do things like that. And
That's cool.
you
That's
just
a
see
cool
how
thing.
they live, and it's nothing out of the ordinary for them, but to us, we're like thinking, we're like, because it's so poor, and we feel bad for like the kids and all this stuff, and but they're so happy and grateful. And then we come back to the United States, and it's like we have a house, we have a car, we have this. Just I think everyone should travel, especially to like third world countries, and experience cultures and things like that, because we have it made here. Like we have it so made compared to a lot of people, and that's just one of the things we love to do, like sightsee, travel, eat, experience the cultures and do things. So we always try to do something fun like that.
Who do you want to fight next?
If I could just pick, I want to fight the winner of Max and Volkanovski. Like my goal is to be a world champion. Like I will be a world champion. But it feels like they were just kind of having me fight all these people behind me, and I told them I'm not fighting anyone else behind me. I was fighting all these vets, these up and comers, these prospects. Like I want to fight in front of me, or if obviously I don't think I'll get that title shot, where I was at, but I thought I was 2 fights away for fighting for the title. I beat Burgos. I get someone in the top like 3. I win that. I fight for the title. But then I saw a lot of people after that fight. They're like, I wouldn't be mad if Josh fought the winner of Volkanovski Holloway. I was like, I would not be mad either.
Not after that fight.
And I didn't even get to perform the way that what I'm capable of.
But Dana knows that. Dana knows that.
Oh yeah, and that's what he was saying. So he knew
knows that.
So I was happy, and he was saying before our fight, he was like, the winner of this is going to get a big push and be in title contentions and all this stuff. And then I went out there and did that, and with the injury, and then that came out. So we'll see. I think Volkanovski and I match up really well. I think it's going to be the same outcome with Holloway, just because stylistically it's not a good fight for Max, even though he was a phenomenal champion and stuff. But I think Volkanovski and I are very similar. We're like the same height. We're bigger featherweights, both come from wrestling backgrounds, just strong, powerful, explosive fighters. And I think that right there would be such an exciting fight. And he beat some of my friends and teammates, and I want to get that back for them. So
did he beat Uriah?
No, he beat Darren Elkins and Chad Mendez. Yeah.
Who's the last guy that? Oh, it was Yan or something.
Oh, Peter. Yep. Peter.
Yan, right?
Yep. He beat
Yeah,
he
he beat
beat
him.
Uriah.
Yeah. So you're training over there, and Dana is not gonna forget.
You don't think
He's
so?
not gonna forget. What's your favorite movie?
Well, even just thinking about like all like going back to I like Bloodsport. I like Gladiator, Troy. I like those kind of movies. Like if I had to pick one, it'd probably be between one of those. Yeah.
Do you have kids?
No, we don't. We just have
Are you
a dog.
gonna?
We're
What?
my wife and I are like the only ones out of all of our friends that do not have kids yet.
And do you want kids?
Yeah, we always thought that was the plan before she was 30. She's 34 now, but we just got to the literally like a year and a half ago. We got to a place where we're not like struggling so much, and we're really enjoying our life and getting to travel and do the things that we've always wanted to do but never been able to do. We have godchildren, we have have nephews, things like that, but it's a lot of work. Like we watch our godchildren, we've done things like that, and we did it for like a weekend where our friends were out of town, and we would always go over there, play with them, watch them for a few hours, and that's fine. But when you have to do everything for a whole weekend, and at the time it was a 1-year-old and a 6-year-old, after we were done, we looked at each other and we're
It's
like,
birth control. That's good birth control.
no, exactly. That's why we don't have kids right now. And we're like, there's no way. We just said we're not ready for it. I know you're never going to be ready. We know what everyone says, but yeah, we're just, something would really have to give right now. And so at this moment, we're
We
not
have
ready.
11 between us.
No way.
What?
We have 11
How many kids do you have? I only have 4. I don't know how many kids you
I have four. I have 4 biological.
Oh, and then 3 more.
And 3 steps.
Oh, that's
Wow.
That all live in my house. So
your life's terrible, man.
it's not terrible. It's just busy. They suck the life
what's the
out of me.
youngest? What's the youngest and oldest then?
The youngest is 17. The oldest is 40.
Okay.
My youngest is 10 to 21.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
So
when your kids get a little older, 1 and 6-year-old, man, that's a lot of work. But when they're older, man, there's nothing more fun.
No, yeah, because we see it now, and now they're 4 and 8, or I mean 3 and 8. But it's like it is fun. But we have a whole new appreciation for parents when we actually did everything.
They suck the life out of you, man, and they don't appreciate a goddamn thing.
When they get older, they do, right?
They might. My daughter actually, for Father's Day, wrote me a beautiful message, and part of it was how proud she is, and she loved growing up with a real man for a father in a world full of pussy men.
That's awesome.
Susie, my daughter Susie wrote me that. I was like, I loved it. It was like, I'm so glad I have a real man for a father in a world of pussy men.
Well,
That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
Give it another 10, 20 years and wait. It's going to get worse.
It's life. Yeah, it is. It is going to get worse, but not at our gym. That's one thing about us martial artists. We are never going to be pussy men. Martial artists will never be pussy men. We are the alphas of this fucking world, and that'll never change. What do you want to do when you retire? You want to train people? Or
that's always been I used to be a co-owner of a CrossFit gym. But yeah,
they're in trouble now.
No, I know. Yeah, good thing we got out of it a few years ago. So I don't know. Training would be great. I'm involved in a few little things. A health bar in Sacramento. There's 3 locations. Some other things, but I really just want to be smart with my money and maximize the time I have left, and just get it into real estate and stuff, and have that be my retirement, and get rental property.
Talk to James Krause.
Okay. Yeah. I've seen he's been doing a lot of things like that.
Oh my God. Yeah. He's doing a fantastic job.
And I have some good friends that are involved in a lot of real estate and just kind of mentoring me and things like that. So
what about Uriah? He looks like he's pretty sharp with his money.
Yeah. He's doing well. He's doing good. So
I love that guy.
He's definitely, been there, and he's been a good mentor as well. And so it's like, I have a lot of like resources, but now that I'm actually, as long as I can fight consistently and just, I know what I want. So it's just being smart with my money and just constantly just investing it wisely and hopefully I'll figure it out when I get there. But I think I have a good like 5-6 years left in me, maybe even 7.
How old are you?
35, but I got into this so much later than most.
Yeah.
I feel the best I've ever felt, but it's just the number that I look at. I'm like, shit, I'm 35 years old,
I'm
but
60, bro.
damn, okay.
You never. Yes, I'm telling you, man. You easily got another 5 years at least. Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping for. I used to always think like I don't want to fight when I'm 40.
Loader's 40.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, he's 40. He looked pretty. This is one of his best fights ever.
No, he looked great. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like anytime I see an older fighter, I'm always rooting for him. Just
Yeah.
it's hard though when I see someone that's, they look, I don't know, they're younger than me, and they've been in the game for so long, and I'm like, man, and I'm still 4 years older than this guy.
How many fights you have altogether?
I'm 16-2.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So 18 pro fights, and I had 2 amateur fights that I won to, but those.
So you started after college
Yep.
wrestling?
Yeah, I went to I wrestled at a junior college, Sac City College, and then I went to Menlo College. It's a private college in Atherton, right next to Stanford. It's NAIA. So I went there. I graduated in 2010, and then I think I had my first amateur fight when I was 26 or 27. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't go pro tall. Yeah. So I didn't go pro talls. I think 28, and then I had injury after injury. I broke my first pro fight. I broke my hand in the first 45 seconds. It was flopping around, and so I had to take him down and just use elbows. And then I was out for 10 months. Came back, broke it again, out for another 10 months. So I started fighting professionally when I was like 29, I think, in 2013, and just went on a run. And I got in the UFC when I was 31.
Wow, this guy. Well, I just want to say, man, in closing, man, Dana will never forget that fight. He'll always owe you for that, and he keeps with his. He's very loyal when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Like you take a fight last minute, he remembers that shit. You quit in the stool, he'll remember that shit. You do something like that against him, he'll remember that shit. But you fucking fight 3 whole rounds on one leg and get a fight of the night, he will not forget that. So you're I'm sure you're gonna go, and either will any of your fans. So
Okay.
that fight's gonna go down. It wasn't a bloody mess fight, but everybody knows that knee. Everybody knows, that they wouldn't have done it, basically. So that's gonna go down in UFC history. I guarantee you that people always talk about that. And your Mike Tyson ish style, people fucking love it. They just love it.
Yeah.
They love it, and they love someone that can just fucking rush in, power W after a fucking, power double leg you after a fucking overhand right. People love that shit, and then they love the fact that you can knock people out too. So I think you got a really good career. You've been one of my favorite for a long time. You know that. When I put you on my Instagram, I was like, holy fuck. But anyway, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, thank you, man. Hey, good luck with your knee. If you need anything, text John if you got questions.
Okay, I appreciate it. And then one of these times, John, I got to come down to San Luis Obispo. So when this stupid knee gets fixed, and
let's get the left hook going. We'll get a couple. There's like 3 things I want to go over.
Okay.
Yeah, tell Uriah not to come, but you come down. He's crazy, man. That fucking guy. I remember him from the WC days, Strike Force day. I remember him as like I always thought he was a skater kid. I was like, "What the fuck are you doing here, bro?" He's like, "What are you talking, Pitmaster?" I was like, "Who are you?" And then, yeah, I love him. But hey, congratulations, good luck on everything, and let's stay in touch.
Okay, for sure. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for doing the show, man. Thank you.
All right, take care.
Brother. Thanks, brother.
Thank you.
We gotta go to class, man.